Madden NFL 24, and it's brought to you by EA Sports. It's the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings, and it's coming up next.
U.S. Bank Stadium holds just under 70,000 spectators, and they've come out in full force for this one. A fantastic atmosphere here in Minneapolis. Today we've got an NFC matchup on tap, as it'll be the New Orleans Saints taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Brandon Gaughan, Charles Davis, thrilled to be with you from the broadcast booth. And partner, before we get this thing started, what are you going to be watching?
Who gets off to a fast start? In horse racing terms, they talk about catching a flyer out of the gate. Who sets the pace and makes the other team chase?
Just about set for football. Blake Groupie is ready to get us started. And we are underway from downtown Minneapolis. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And they will be led out by their rookie quarterback.
We're seeing it more and more in this league, how teams love to have athletes back there taking the snaps, guys who can throw it and move around and get yardage with their legs if needed. He's one of the best examples that we see out there right now. He can throw for hundreds of yards one week and then run for 100+ the next. He adds an extra dimension that really confounds defenses when he puts it all together.
They go play action here on first down. Fights through him, and he's got this to Jefferson. He'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
Kind of a dangerous throw there. He's off balance when he gets rid of it. But this is all about a quarterback knowing what he can get away with. And that time, it turns into a completion and a healthy gain as well.
Throwing on first down, McCarthy. And this one's incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes. But the best part for him, he's got second and third down to fall back on.
Now a 2nd and 10. Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. So not a lineman, but the tight end instead this time, drawing the holding call.
And more what you're getting with tight ends are guys who are much more receiver than blocker. They may be willing, but that might not be their thing. Oftentimes, they'll be the ones getting the penalties.
Looking to throw on second down. McCarthy finds his man. There's Jordan Addison. And this is going to be another first down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 38-yard line. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains. So in Saints territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 38. Now a handoff. Running left is Jones. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
Second down, another shot for Jones. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down. Off play action. McCarthy steps away. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line. Able to make something out of nothing there. 17 yards and a first down. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Flush to his right. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
They are such a talented team at defending the perimeter and taking away throws to the outside. Great confidence, great skill.
They'll go again here from the 10-yard line on 2nd and goal. Running right, Jones. score. Touchdown, Vikings. Aaron Jones, a 10-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings are on the board first here this afternoon.
You get in a second and long situation down here in the red zone, I'd say most defensive coaches would think pass, let's bring some pressure. So this is kind of a tendency breaker here to hit him with something on the ground, and he'll take it all the way into the end zone.
Now the try here for the extra point. He's got it, and the Vikings take a 7-0 lead. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And the last play in the drive was a touchdown run by Aaron Jones. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. And here come the Saints for their opening drive. They're led out by their quarterback out of Fresno State, Derek Carr.
It's been fun to watch his development through the years, and right now what you see is a very confident quarterback who has a strong sense of self, totally understands the offense, and knows how to get the ball to his playmakers on the run.
Carr going to lead the Saints up here 1st and 10 at their own 26. They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. And he gets this one just shy of the 40 to mark him down at the 39. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards. Blocking at the point of attack there was very strong. He had a couple of running lanes.
And I never want to overlook the offensive line, but that's what they get paid to do. How about the quarterback? Everyone thinks all he's going to do is throw the football. His movement and deception can help the running game as well.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
Personally, I think they've got to go somewhere else with the football. They've got him bracketed out there in double coverage. Makes it hard to fit it in time after time.
It would have had to have been an absolutely perfect pass and not good enough. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Throwing his Carr on 3rd down. That is caught. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. 23 yards on the play.
All right, let's just go ahead and walk through this one pretty easily, right? Blast off the line of scrimmage, get downfield to a certain point, usually around 8 to 10 yards, turn around and make sure the quarterback sees your numbers and set yourself up for the pass.
A well-executed curl route by Charles Davis. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and that'll make it 2nd down. Carr. That's complete to his running back, Kamara. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. It'll be a gain of 5. And they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches. Play action. Now it's Carr. And that is it. The field goal unit's going to stay put on the sideline. They're going to go on 4th down here. Carr keeps it on the sneak.
Yeah, boy, that's going to be close. He didn't get much at all there, but he got the first. Look like defensively, but the referee signals it will be a first down. Carr now on first down. They'll get this out to Kamara. And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. After 7-0 on EA Sports. The Saints with a football here to begin quarter number 2. Now 2nd and 5. As they've got it as we resume action. Carr to throw on 2nd down. Oh, it's intercepted. A drive killer there. Shaquille Griffin with a pick. And the Vikings are going to take over here on the INT at their own 5-yard line.
Partner, there's no other way you could describe it because that was absolutely just gut-wrenching for that offense. They were right on the precipice. Points were available. All they had to do was just fall forward, and they were going to put them up on the board. Instead, a long drive ends in heartbreak and a melancholy trip back to the drawing board. How you like it when I go a little bit lyrical for you?
Throwing to start the drive. McCarthy. That's down the field for Jefferson. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down. Up the middle, Jones. And a short gain here as he gets it up only to about the 6. They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. On 3rd down, McCarthy. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Justin Simmons. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. An excellent play there, CD, on the pick 6. And I think were they a nickel? Did they have an extra DB out there?
Yeah, Brandon, I think they were in standard nickel, not the Buffalo, as teams like to call it, meaning 3 safeties for big nickel. They just wanted to take away the quarterback's throwing lanes, and that's exactly what they did and came through with a big-time pick 6.
Blake Groupie now for the extra point. It's up and good, and we're tied at 7 here in quarter number 2. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So I'll leave it at 7 now as they kick it away. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. Remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick 6, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go-around.
Yeah, and sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick 6 and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
And here's Jones again on 2nd down. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the first down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the first down. That's exactly what they do.
Well, he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. The catch and run pays off for 29 yards. So in Saints territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 34. Off the play fake. McCarthy on the move to his left. An off-balance throw there, and it's going to wind up incomplete.
Well, a momentary speed bump there with that throw, partner. The defense had other ideas, and they're trying to mount a small stand before this drive reaches the end zone.
Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well.
They certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board. Back
to throw again. And this is caught. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
There's the arm strength that we saw in college and during the scouting process. And really, it's not just the arm strength there, but the placement as well. To me, that was an excellent combination of arm talent and accuracy.
Let's go.
Trying the power game with Ham. And he'll get it. Touchdown, Minnesota. C.J. Ham. A touchdown run there from a yard out. And the Vikings have taken the lead. Well, they weren't messing around. First and goal, they don't do anything fancy. They just go to the fullback right away.
I like how you phrase that because oftentimes they come back to the fullback when it's late in the down and distance count, right? In this case, first down, let's go get it right now.
And he got it. 6 points on the board. Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 14-7. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. New Orleans Saints, they get ready to set up shop for their second drive. In a close game like this, Charles, those interceptions like they had on the last drive could be costly, but here they've got another opportunity to seize control of this game.
And they'd better take advantage of it because otherwise, if they end up losing by 1 score, they'll relive this over and over and over until they have another opportunity to wipe it away.
Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings them up 2nd and 10. On play action, they'll throw. Here's Johnson with a reception. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. That one good for 26 and a first down.
For many teams, the evaluation of tight ends has really changed. We used to wonder about how they would block first and foremost. Now we want to know how these guys can run because we envision them in offenses, catch the ball. How much yardage can they gain after that?
And that on display there for a good pickup.
What now?
Carr now on first down. And that is incomplete. A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they throw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
Over the middle and complete to Shaheed. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. So apparently some grabbing there in the middle of the O-line.
I've often wondered why that doesn't happen more often for guys that play center. Having to snap the ball and then trying to get your hands into the proper position, that's difficult to do. He got caught that time.
On second down, here's Carr. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And they're going to bring this one back. It's a fumble return, a scoop and score for the Vikings. A And Charles, look at the big fella. What a rumble that was. Not only to scoop it, but then take it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
And now you know they're going to have to hear about it from now on. The defensive backs, he's going to want to run with them, do their drills, the whole deal. He thinks he's the pace setter now.
It doesn't matter what happens in practice this week, he's smiling. Now they'll line up to kick the extra point. It's good, and it is now 21-7. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score.
And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25.
Out is the Saints offense now as they get ready to take over here. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor. But thank you, Dr. Davis.
Sacked by Andrew Van Ginkel. This offense continues to shoot themselves in the foot. And here, another sack.
All game long, we've seen missed assignments, which have led to turnovers, sacks. This group has not played well at all here in the first half.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
And this drive is almost over before it began, thanks to a great defensive effort. Sacked on first down, followed by an incomplete. Good rep, and they get off the field.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. They'll pound it up the middle with Kamara, and they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts.
So as they talk it over, we step aside. So on fourth down, on is Lou Hedley to punt for New Orleans. Brandon Powell deep from Minnesota.
Fair catch called for and made, but now we'll have to see about the penalty.
Offside, defense.
What's the deal, y'all?
Well, we looked at each other right when he flinched. We knew that that flag was coming.
Yeah, offsides, easy call, mark off the 5, and keep it moving.
Now here's Lou Hedley now. Back deep, Brandon Powell.
That's pulled in at the 32. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially.
And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10. The Vikings going to take over now late in this first half. And with great starting field position and a couple of timeouts at their disposal, they'll certainly have the green light here.
And that'll throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is a defense that's certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the stick.
This is caught inside the 15. A big play there just before halftime. And even 50 yards.
I'll tell you what, this is not going to be a fun discussion at halftime for this defense. They've been absolutely taken advantage of in the first half. And here's another play for big yardage.
On 1st and 10, McCarthy looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
My first thought is surprise because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
When you run in the slant, timing is everything, and against that man coverage, there's no space available, and incompletion as a result.
And his kick here is good. And they will open things up a bit more. It's 24-7. So a capper there to a pretty good first half.
And I love the way that they put a chokehold on the clock and pretty much drained everything before they put the field goal on the board as they headed into the half.
So still time for the kickoff here. 1 second to go in the half as this one is away. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan... All right, hang on. We'll jump over halftime. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. The Saints going to go on offense first, and they trail here as we begin quarter number 3. This taken in at the goal line. And he'll be brought down right on the chalk of the 20. Out come the Saints now. They'll go on offense first here to begin the third quarter. Well, they look up at the scoreboard facing that deficit. A 3-score game, Charles, but look, there's plenty of time to go here. The old football cliche that comes to my mind is you can't get it all back at once. They probably need something, though, out of this drive, at least 3 points.
Are you trying to say that there's no 3-score drive on that play sheet for any one of those coordinators? They just don't have it, right? You're trying to get it all back. You know you can't get it back in one drive, but maybe cut into it a little bit as you...
And now the ball's out. Carr lost it. Fumble. And the Vikings pick up the football. And they'll have great field position here as the ball will be at the 15-yard line. Well, if these guys wanted to get back in this game, they needed an almost perfect second half, and down 3 scores. A lost fumble here certainly doesn't fit into that plan.
That reminds me of my plan in college to get an A on the papers I turned in, but that didn't work out too well either. Too many mistakes by both of us. I mean, that's just... That's exactly where they are in this ball game. They're going to need a huge turnaround if they want to try and win this one.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. They'll try the right side with Jones.
Holding. Offense.
So that run play nullified by the holding call on the tight end.
Yeah, I just think he needs to get off the ball a lot quicker and get into the block a little bit more effectively. Then he doesn't have to reach and grab and try and hold on.
Let's go now.
Here's a give to Jones running left. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Aaron Jones, his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Vikings are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. So they're able to capitalize there on the short field, and that might prove to be the score that turns out the lights.
The party's over. Oh, sorry about that. That's an old reference there, folks. But, yeah, they've been the better of the two teams by far, and that's great complementary football right there. Defense gets the turnover, sets up the short field, and the offense goes right out and scores to open up a pretty sizable lead.
Extra point right down the middle, and the lead is now 24. Well, they got the ball in great field position. One play later, boom, end zone. Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
There's Chris Olave. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. 23 yards the pickup there. From midfield, here's Carr. And his throw is incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely, just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. On second down, Kamara. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up third down.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Here's Carr to throw. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Looks like another empty possession offensively. And you're at that point in the game where you can't afford too many more of these. So this is going to require some heavy thinking on the sideline to figure out what they can do to crack this defense.
And that'll kick and go out of bounds just outside the 15 at the 16-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated, they both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
And a penalty flag comes in as that one winds up incomplete, but the contact is going to move the ball well downfield. They've done a good job on these receivers, pretty much held them in check. They're a little too close for comfort.
Looking for a play to get you going, right? You're looking for someone to make one. But maybe this penalty, this pass interference call, that can help shake them loose.
After the penalty, it's Jones. There he goes, left side. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. We're going to get a break here for the injury. Aaron Jones is in some discomfort down on the field. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment. So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. They'll go with Akers here up the middle.
And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone.
Taken down by Pete Werner. From the 21, here's 2nd down and 5. They'll go again here with Akers.
And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. The pickup goes for 13 and sets him up 1st and goal.
That was good, tough running right up the middle. And if the defense can't penetrate and make him slow his pace or change direction, that's often the end result.
Looking to throw. McCarthy eluding the pressure right.
They'll set up the screen here to Akers. Touchdown! Cam Akers.
A 7-yard touchdown grab.
And the Vikings have opened the lead up to 30. Boy, another score. This lead gets even bigger. And Charles, we haven't even hit the 4th quarter yet.
Well, forget the deficit, right? They're really not going to cut into that a heck of a lot. But how can they get out of here with some dignity? Can they get a stop or two? Can they make a play on offense themselves? Anything to start to feel better about what's happened to them here in this one.
A try here for the extra point.
The kick is good. Makes the score Vikings 38.
So that drive spanned 5 plays, and it's polished off by a Vikings score. Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away.
And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28.
Now the Saints, they trot their offense out here. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
So apparently some grabbing of the jersey there on the O-line.
Yeah, just look in the interior, and that's where the penalty occurred.
From the gun, it's a run for Kamara.
And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3. Well, this defense, they've got the 4-score advantage, and you can see why they continue to bottle up the run game, and really they've just been sharp in all facets here in this one, CD.
Yeah, they've kept that offense in check the entire game, and I think it's been led by what you just talked about, that defensive front, which has not allowed them to run the football and establish control of the line of scrimmage.
That's good. The completion there for 7 yards, and 3rd and 8 now.
They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down.
Now Carr. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Looks like a 9-yard loss, and it also brings up 4th.
before they can get the punt away whistles as we've come to the end of the third quarter of action. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on fourth down. They're going for it. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. Look at the big man rumble. Touchdown, Saints. Juwan Johnson, 79 yards. And the Saints get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this fourth quarter deficit. So it was fourth down. They go deep to try to pick up the first. They pick up more than that. They pick up a score.
I'm not even sure the analytics guys would think that was a good gamble. Fourth down there going for it, but they pressed the issue. And not only did they complete the pass downfield, how about the run after catch that ends up culminating in a touchdown? That's a huge play.
And the Vikings able to recover. The hands team does its job. Now they're down big here in the fourth. They had to try the onside kick. Can't fault them for the effort at least.
No, you can't at all. And if nothing else, now you've put something that you're trying to practice, right, that you've worked on into a game situation, and now you can go back and dissect it. So if you need it again sometime, maybe you'll find a better way to do it. But, yeah, this game's pretty much done for them.
And now what's this? They fake the spike. He'll throw it. Escaping the pressure right. Oh, poor decision there, and it's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Justin Simmons. And the Saints are going to have it here just past the 25. A young quarterback, Charles, rolling to his right. And I know he's right-handed, but is that one that maybe a veteran sticks in his pocket?
I think so, but you have to remember with young quarterbacks, it may take a few years before they get all the stuff out of them that they did earlier in their career or even in their college days when they were used to being dominant. In this case, the NFL veteran defense ended up winning the battle.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, but when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
And Kamara's going to have a Saints first down as he'll get this to the 44-yard line. Working from the gun, it's Carr. Throwing for the out route, he finds Wilson. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. Again, it's Carr. And his throw's going to be incomplete. Now, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Now Carr throwing on second down. They'll set up the screen now to Kamara. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. The Saints passing game in sync and moving the football. It's a first down. Carr now to throw. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. It's been that kind of a day so far throwing the football. It just seems like nothing going right offensively.
Yeah, it's a catch that should have been made, pure and simple. And look, everything else that goes into running a good pass route, throw it all out if you don't catch the ball.
Been that kind of game throwing the football so far. Nothing going right offensively. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Johnson. Touchdown! Juwan Johnson with now 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. And the Saints get a bit closer. Carr will look to throw. And now the pressure gets there, and he goes down. So he couldn't get rid of the football, and that deficit stays right where it is. So tried to throw it in for 2 points, but the D got home, brought him down.
They got home, which means there had to be good coverage, just had nowhere to go with the ball. Typically, you try and throw quick hitters, quick slants, maybe even a quick fade. Nothing was open. He ends up getting sacked.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. Good gain there on first down. That keeps them in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds and keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Back to throw. McCarthy flushed out right. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. That one a broken play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20.
It hasn't been the cleanest game for him, but there was a sign of improvement as he looks towards the next one. Nice bit of scrambling to move the sticks, and even more importantly, he didn't risk adding another interception to his ledger.
And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. 5 yards, a good run there, and now 2nd and goal.
Brings up 2nd and goal.
Completes this to Addison out left. Touchdown, Vikings! Jordan Addison, a 2-yard touchdown grab. And the Vikings are able to widen their advantage. Charles, that's a pretty good response from a rookie quarterback. He's had his struggles in this game, including the interception on the last drive, but there he takes him down the field and puts it.
I agree with everything you just said right there, and there's a silver lining to all of this, his resiliency. Because let's face it, when things are going bad and you're a youngster, they often continue to go bad. But in his mind and his actions, he said, this stops right here. And how about the positive play he just turned in?
Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. The New Orleans offense set to take over. Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made. Figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Throwing now is Carr. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain.
At this stage, there's nothing left to do but to keep firing, and if you're a play caller, you may go off your sheet and use some things maybe you hadn't planned to in this game. Maybe that was one.
So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Kamara up the middle. A strong running. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. On 1st down, Carr. He's got Wilson, middle of the field. Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this fourth quarter of play. Here's Carr. Finding Johnson on the out route. That's complete. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Into the red zone, it's Carr. He gets this complete to Shaheed. And that's good for a gain of 6, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. Now the Saints will use their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Again, they'll throw with Carr. Throw out wide is incomplete.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
Carr going to throw. That one thrown away from the pocket. The officials kind of looking at each other, but they'll say there was a receiver in the area, so no penalty, just an incomplete pass. The decision made for them. They've got to go. It's 4th down. Now Carr, got to have this one. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and this 10-play drive winds up yielding nothing. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. So the final seconds have ticked away in this Minnesota victory. And when you break it down, this was just a thoroughly dominating performance.
And I truly thought that we'd have a tight game coming into this. I think you felt the same way, based on our conversation after the production meeting. But obviously not the case. And how about just how it broke open? You know, you just all of a sudden, whoosh, there it is. This thing is pretty much done. And the crowd stayed with it to celebrate because they're like, let's enjoy watching our team play this well. This is fun.
So that'll do it for my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. It's a win for the Vikings as we say so long from Minneapolis.